Hello, welcome to a serious video covering something I'm interested in, roller coasters. Roller coaster what ifs, part 1 in a series where I cover some ideas of alternate history with roller coasters. This one focuses on alternative manufacturers of the first hypercoaster. So Aerodynamics made the first full circuit hypercoaster in 1989, Magnum XL200, driven at Cedar Point. Yeah, it's looks like a good ride, except for everything that is in the finale. But still, yeah. Uh, it's fun. The name is also funny because it's literally just saying big 3 times in different ways. Magnum means large or big. XL is extra large, and 200, well, for the time, 200 feet was massive. So it's just saying, hey, this coaster is big. It's so big, we're saying it 3 times. So yeah. Uh, This one is a YouTube video that I'll link. I want to watch this. This looks fucking awesome. Schwarzkopf should have made the first hyper. Fuck anyone who says otherwise. Schwarzkopf builds the first hypercoaster. There are 2 styles I can see. An out and back, or in this case a double out and back. Plus maybe a spaghetti bowl ending after a mid-course brake run, for example. Although chances are, from what Schwarzkopf's known for, they will likely have multiple block sections. But I suppose the main brake run would be, separating in 2 halves. I don't know. Or an upscale jet line at Groenland, or Olympia Looping. I'll focus on Olympia Looping in this case. I feel this ride would probably be better than Magnum XL200. For one, it would be smoother and wouldn't rely on the finale to be considered great. If it's an upscale Olympia Looping, then it's possible that the modern Hyper may be a mix of loopers and airtime-filled out and backs. Maybe it's possible that it would be prominently loopers. I don't know. Togo built the first Hypercoaster, and this is Bandit at Yomiuriland. I don't know how to pronounce it. The coaster that inspired Cedar Point to have Magnum XL200 built was Bandit at Yomiuriland, which is a Togo roller coaster that has large drops and focuses on airtime and scenery. If Togo built the first Hyper, one up in Bandit, then it's likely that Togo would be far more respected today. Keep in mind, the Japanese coasters are better than the American ones, from what I've heard. I have not gone on many rides. I've been on like 12 coasters. I have 12 credits. Great. So when people say, I haven't been on that many, I've only been on like 100, I was like, that's like 10 times my credit count. Keep in mind, yeah, just look at Fujiyama, Bandit, Surf Coaster, Leviathan, or the Ultra Twisters. They look like great rides, and it's a shame they didn't make good ones in the US. This is Thunderbolt at Dreamworld, and this is the best image I can find that shows the whole layout. It's a single, it's actually a song. It's kind of corny song. So yeah, coaster was so totally not shit, only 25-degree drops. It's actually the second longest coaster that we've ever had built in Australia. It held its record from 1982 to 2017. So yeah. Technically they did. They built the first, Meisho built the first Hyper. Technically they did. They built the first coaster to exceed 61 meters, 200 feet, and it was Moonsault Scramble at Fuji Q Highland. Built in 1983, it was 70 meters tall, 229.7 feet for you disgusting barbarians who use the Imperial system. But it was a shuttle coaster, so yeah, doesn't really count. Does look awesome, and very intense on that pretzel knot. It pulls like 6.2 Gs. But in this scenario, Meisho built a full circuit coaster exceeding 61 meters, which would undoubtedly bring attention to this rarely mentioned manufacturer and would likely create a strong rivalry between Meisho and Togo. Perhaps a Japanese coaster war, or even an Asia coaster war, between these two manufacturers trying to one-up each other. As for what it would be like, I have no idea. It certainly wouldn't be as good as the Schwarzkopf Hyper, and would probably not be better than Togo Hyper, but who knows? And there's no even remotely hyper-like rides that were built by this company, so I decided to shill Thunderbolt. Vekoma builds the first hyper. While this wasn't the kind of thing Vekoma would likely tackle, kind of like a me show, it is something that they could have done, and this is a Millennium Coaster Fantasyland, Fantasy Island that actually looks pretty good, quite smooth. It would most likely be an upscale looper featuring large turns and drops and inversions, maybe even a hybrid of a traditional hyper in the first half and a looper/twister in the second half, probably after mid-course brake run. Although this is old for Vekoma, so it almost certainly wouldn't be good. But people rave about Arrow because they made a couple of good coasters in the suspended coasters, and were very influential. So I suppose people will respect Vekoma more if they had built the first hypercoaster. Pinfari builds the first hypercoaster. Yeah, this is nightmarish to think about. There's Tornado at M&D's and that corkscrew looks fucking awful. Feel bad for Scotland. This is actually the tallest coast they've ever gone. Rip. It would be terrible, but people would likely give Pinfari more respect, as technically they did actually lead the steel coaster in the early days, and along with Arrow, Togo, and Schwarzkopf, was a major player in popularizing the steel roller coaster. Unfortunately, unlike the others, they didn't really make any good rides, just okay ones at best, and awful at worst. But again, at least they helped bring steel coasters to small parks, although Schwarzkopf did the same, except not shit. The layout would likely be Twister, maybe features inversions, and would be awful and rough, but who knows? Maybe Pinfari may unleash talent and awesomeness if they build Hyper. You never know. But I doubt it. Bye.